Welcome to this Google Drive screencast where we're looking at how to store and share files. Specifically in this screencast, we're going to take a look at how shared folders work, how you can create them in Google Drive. So we've already covered sharing of individual files. You know that you can checkbox files and use this share button, or you can use the share button when you're within a Google Drive file. Going a step further, you can actually set a folder to be shared to many people, or you could actually set a folder to be anyone with the link can access. So I'm going to cover that now. So to create a folder, first off, whenever you create a folder, if I hit create, or if I hit the little plus folder button here, that folder is going to get created in whatever folder I'm in. So I'm currently in my drive because it's red. If I happen to be in this Drive Tools folder, this was clicked on and I created a folder right now, that folder would get created within here. So I just point that out just so that you understand when you create a folder where it's going to go. So I'm going to create a folder at the first level here. So I'm going to click on my drive and I'm going to click Create Folder. And let's say I was on the language arts team and I was going to make an language arts department folder. This would just be one person on the team that would need to make that folder. If this was going to be a shared folder, one person would create it and then share it to everyone else. So this folder gets put in your My Drive area. There's a few ways to get to the share rights for that folder. If you see the folder here in the main screen, you can always checkbox it and go to the share button. Or if you're working down your My Drive area, you find the folder. When you mouse over that folder, I'll make this a little bigger here. When you mouse over that particular folder, there's this option arrow that appears over on the right side. So if I click that arrow, I can get to the share settings for that folder. So here in this little menu that pops up is share, I can go to share again, and that brings up similar share settings to what we see when you share a Google Drive file. So we've already covered this before, but similar rights as when you're sharing an individual file. I can invite people to this folder. If I was to invite some colleagues to this folder, I'd probably type their last names and add them in here. And then I would choose to give them edit rights or view rights. When you're adding other people to a folder, again, just a good thing to know in Google Drive, there can only be one owner, and you can add others as editors or viewers. And so you could add some people that are editors, you could add some people that are viewers. If I needed to send them a message saying I've shared this to you now, that I would do that here as well. So I'm going to share that folder to them. They will show up here in the list. If ever I need to change their rights, I can always come back into these share settings and change them to, I could actually transfer ownership to someone else. Maybe if I'm leaving the district or leaving that department, I could transfer ownership of that folder to someone else, or I could change them from editor to viewer, or I could X them to delete them off. So that's how to directly share folders to teammates. If you wanted to change a folder so that anyone can see what's in that folder, you can do this just like you can with Google Drive files that we already covered. I can go to the change link there and I can set the rights. So maybe as a teacher, you want to put a folder of resources for your class on your website. A good strategy for that is you would come in here and check off anyone with the link, can view, hit save. I would now copy this link, and if I link this up on my teacher website, my kids would be able to come in and see that folder. If ever you need to change rights to a folder, somebody did something with a folder, did something with the files, you as the owner can always come back in and reset this, so you can essentially lock people out if you need to, or take away editing rights if you need to as well. When you click done, you'll notice that the folder then will have a little person on it. That just is a signal, a visual cue that that folder is shared to at least one other person, if not a few people. So looking at these, I know some of these folders are private for me, and some of these I might have also shared or be shared with others. So here's a benefit to creating a folder that you share with others, or maybe a folder that you link up on your website. Whatever files you put in the folder, take on the rights of that folder. So here's an example. In my drive, I created this Student Tech Team Ideas file. If I now put this in that LA department folder that I created, I could drag and drop, or I could checkbox and assign it to the folder. It doesn't matter how it gets in there. When I put it in there, it automatically takes on the rights now of that folder. So this means my teammates that I added on this folder can see and edit this file. I also had made this file anyone with the link can view. So if this folder was linked up on my teacher website, anyone that goes to this folder could just see and view this file. They wouldn't be able to change it. Only my teammates that I added as editors can actually edit. So that's a benefit to using folders, the folder structure, if you're setting that up for a team. Here's one thing to be very aware of. Say you go to a folder and you have edit rights on that folder. Anyone that has edit rights can take files out of a folder. So if you're working in a team, you need to make sure that everybody in your team understands that. Here's what I mean. I'm in this folder. There's a few of us that have edit rights. And let's say I take this file and I just want to, for whatever reason, I want to organize this into another folder of my own. Say I try to take this to my drive. One thing that's nice is you will get a warning message that says you're moving this out of a shared folder. Other users will no longer see this item. I can still choose to move it because I am an editor. Editors are allowed to take files out, or I could cancel and that'll leave the file in that folder. So be very aware of that editors on folders do have the rights to take files out of a folder. And sometimes a teammate might take a file out that they shouldn't take out. So just make sure everyone on that folder understands that. Let's say you're a recipient of a folder, meaning someone has shared a folder to you. Where does that folder appear? I'm going to minimize my drive here so I can see the shared with me area. When I click on shared with me and that's red, anything that's been shared to you, you see either by share date or by title, and you can click on these headers to organize. What I tend to do is I'll organize by title because folders will always appear first. So let's say that this folder right here is a folder that I was shared on. I want to, rather than always coming to shared with me and trying to find this, I want to park this in my drive. You can do that. This doesn't mess anything up. If you're an editor or a viewer of a folder, you can simply checkbox that folder and you can choose add to my drive, in which case it'll just park it. Actually, I'll do that right now. I'll click add to my drive. And so now that folder shows up here under my drive. It's still Luann's folder. It's just parked here so that I can quickly get access to it since I have rights to it. You can also, if I wanted to take this folder and I wanted to put it in a subfolder, I can checkbox it, click move to, and I could put this within a folder. So say I wanted to park that within here, I hit move. So now it also signals here that I have added this to my own personal My Drive 5-6 grade level folder. So if I click on the 5-6 grade level folder, here is that 2013 Student Innovation Program folder that my colleague had shared to me. So that's good to know too. You can take folders from shared with me and still park them in my drive just to get quick access to them. So that's how you set share rights for a folder. In some later videos, we'll show some strategies as teachers, how you can set this up to your advantage so kids can get to some resources or so that you can collect files from students. Thanks for watching.